The silence has been shattered, and the sound of it is absolutely terrifying. Right now, as you watch this, the entire hip-hop world is in a state of pure, unadulterated shock. We've all seen the blood-stained crime scene at the Hard Rock, but what just leaked from inside the intensive care unit changes everything. Offset isn't just recovering, he is planning. We have obtained a chilling, gravelly voiced voice memo allegedly sent by Offset directly to Lil Tjay just hours ago. This isn't a plea for peace, it's a cold-blooded declaration of war. Offset's voice, weak but filled with a calculated rage, has sent Lil Tjay into a literal hiding spot. Sources say Tjay hasn't been seen since this audio hit his phone. The industry is paralyzed, and the streets are whispering that the Migos legacy has just taken its darkest turn yet. Brace yourselves, because the secret Lil Tjay is desperate to keep buried is about to be revealed, and it will leave you breathless. Don't move an inch. To understand the sheer magnitude of the horror unfolding today, we have to look back at the wreckage of a friendship that turned into a lethal rivalry. This wasn't a sudden explosion. It was a slow-burning fuse lit by greed, ego, and a staggering lack of respect. For years, the hip-hop community looked at the Migos and Lil Tjay as part of the same elite circle, the veterans and the new guard. But behind the jewelry and the private jets, a storm was brewing that no one saw coming. Offset has been a man walking through fire. Since the tragic loss of his brother and cousin, Takeoff, in 2022, Offset hasn't just been mourning. He's been a man trying to protect a crumbling legacy while navigating a high-profile, gut-wrenching divorce from Cardi B. But while Offset was at his most vulnerable, trying to heal the wounds of his past, a predator was watching from the Bronx. Lil Tjay, once a young artist who looked up to the Migos, decided to flip the script in the most disrespectful way possible. Everything changed in January 2025. On a cold, high-stakes night at a casino, the bond was severed over a sum of money that seems pathetic compared to their net worths, $10,000. But in the rap game, it's never just about the cash, it's about the principle. Lil Tjay didn't just ask for his money. He went on a viral Twitch rampage that shook the industry to its core. He didn't just call Offset a debtor, he tried to assassinate his character. Tjay laughed into the camera, mocking a legend, claiming Offset was panicking on the casino floor, begging strangers for cash apps like a man who had lost everything. The disrespect was calculated. Tjay knew that calling an Atlanta king broke was the ultimate sin. He weaponized Offset's personal struggles, hinting that his gambling addiction was the real reason his marriage with Cardi B hit the rocks. For weeks, the internet was flooded with memes, but behind the scenes, the tension was reaching a boiling point. Offset's response at the time was a chilling prophecy. "You texting the wrong one, boy. I'll smoke you. You barely lived already." That line, "You barely lived already," sent shivers down the spine of every fan. It was a direct, brutal reminder of the night in June 2022 when Lil Tjay was shot 7 times in New Jersey and nearly lost his life. Offset wasn't just arguing. He was reminding Tjay that he was a man living on borrowed time. From that moment, the 10K beef evolved from a financial dispute into a countdown to violence. For over a year, these two have played a lethal game of chicken. Leaked DMs showed a cycle of threats, with Tjay calling Offset's jewelry lunch money and Offset challenging Tjay to see him in person, without his security. Industry heavyweights like 50 Cent and Jay-Z reportedly tried to mediate, sensing that a graveyard was the only destination for this feud. But the ego was too massive to contain. This background is vital because it proves that what happened on Monday night at the Seminole Hard Rock wasn't a random incident. It was the climax of a year-long campaign of public humiliation. When Offset pulled up to that ballet area, he wasn't just a rapper at a casino. He was a target. And Lil Tjay wasn't just a rival. He was a man who felt he had something to prove to the streets. But here's the detail the mainstream media is missing. Insider sources claim that in the weeks leading up to the shooting, the debt had grown. It wasn't just $10,000 anymore. It had turned into a battle over territory and respect that involved major players from both the Bronx and Atlanta. The powder keg was packed tight, and all it needed was one spark in a valet area to blow the entire industry apart. Now, with Offset fighting for his life and TJ's team scrubbing their social media in a state of blind panic, the world is asking, was the $10,000 just a cover for something much darker? And what did Offset say in that hospital message that has TJ terrified for his life? Monday night, 7:05 p.m. The neon lights of the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino were blinding, casting long, distorted shadows across the valet area. The air was humid, typical for Hollywood, Florida, but there was a heaviness to it that felt like a warning. Offset arrived in a custom matte black SUV, a vehicle that screamed status. He was there to play, to win, and to perhaps forget the headlines for a few hours. But according to an insider source, a valet employee who has since vanished and refused to answer police calls, Offset didn't even make it to the revolving doors. As Offset stepped out of his vehicle, a silver sedan with tinted windows that looked like charcoal screeched into the lane, blocking his path. The door didn't just open, it was kicked open. A figure emerged, draped in an oversized black hoodie, his face obscured by a designer mask. Witnesses claim the confrontation lasted less than 60 seconds, but the words exchanged were like venom. "Where's the bag, Set? You thought I forgot," the hooded figure reportedly screamed. Offset, true to his Migo roots, didn't back down. He didn't reach for his security. He stepped toward the man, his voice a low, dangerous growl that cut through the sound of idling engines. "You're making a mistake you won't live to regret, kid. Move." Then, the world shattered. A physical struggle broke out, a chaotic blur of swinging fists and gold chains. Offset, a veteran of the streets, reportedly landed a devastating hook that sent the attacker stumbling back against a concrete pillar. For a moment, it looked like a typical celebrity scuffle that would end in a lawsuit and a TMZ headline. But as Offset turned his back to walk away, dismissing the threat with the ultimate act of disrespect, the attacker reached into his waistband. Pop, 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 the rhythmic, metallic cracks of a 9mm handgun tore through the night. The screams of tourists and the smell of gunpowder filled the air. Offset collapsed near the curb, his hands clutching his side as the silver sedan roared out of the valet area, leaving behind a trail of burning rubber and a hip-hop legacy hanging by a thread. Within minutes, the area was swarmed by SEAL police. The footage that leaked online shortly after showed the chaotic aftermath. Offset being lifted onto a stretcher, his face pale, while his security screamed at the crowd to put their phones away. But here is where we hit the first massive twist, the detail that the police are trying to keep under wraps to avoid a citywide riot. As the forensics team swept the area, they didn't just find the shell casings from the shooter's weapon. Underneath a parked luxury car, just inches from where Offset fell, they recovered a second firearm, a gold-plated pistol with initials engraved on the handle. But those initials didn't belong to Offset, and they didn't belong to Lil Tjay. They belonged to a high-ranking member of an Atlanta-based gang that has been at odds with Amigos for years. This realization sent a shockwave through the investigation. If the shooter wasn't Lil Tjay, why was Tjay's name being screamed by every insider? The answer arrived in a leaked incident report from an anonymous whistleblower within the department. The report claims that while the shooter was masked, the silver sedan used in the getaway was registered to a shell company linked directly to a Bronx-based record label, the same label that manages Lil Tjay. But wait, it gets even more twisted. We've obtained a leaked screenshot of a close friend's Instagram story posted by a member of Lil Tjay's inner circle just 10 minutes after the shooting. It was a photo of a stack of $10,000 in cash, stained with what appeared to be fresh blood, with the caption, "Debt collected. Atlanta is officially closed." The internet erupted in a frenzy of accusations. Was Tjay boasting about the hit? Or was someone in his camp moving without his permission? The panic reached a fever pitch when DJ Academics went live, his hands shaking as he read a text on his phone. "Yo, chat. I just got a tip. Lil Tjay wasn't the shooter. He was the bait." According to this explosive theory, Tjay was lured to the casino under the pretense of a peace meeting to settle the $10,000 debt. But the meeting was a setup. Someone wanted both Offset and Tjay in the same spot at the same time to spark a war that would destroy both of their careers. The shooter was a third-party assassin hired to pull the trigger and leave Tjay's calling card behind. But why would someone do this? To understand that, you have to look at the chilling message Offset sent from his hospital bed. He didn't just threaten Tjay, he mentioned a secret basement in the Bronx. Our sources tell us that this basement contains evidence of a massive insurance scam involving several top-tier rappers, a scam that Offset was about to expose before he was silenced. As Offset was being wheeled into his second surgery, his lead bodyguard was reportedly overheard on a hot mic saying, "It wasn't a kid, it was the suit. The suit did this." Who is the suit? Is it a label executive, a rival manager, or someone even higher up in the industry hierarchy? The conflict has escalated beyond a gambling debt. This is now a conspiracy involving faked deaths, stolen royalties, and a hitman who is still on the loose in South Florida. And just when you think you've figured out who to trust, a video has surfaced of Lil Tjay crying in a dark room, holding a newspaper with a headline of Offset's shooting, whispering, "They're gonna kill me next." The cycle of violence has shifted. It's no longer Offset versus Tjay. It's both of them versus a hidden enemy that is currently watching this video. Don't go anywhere, because the next reveal about the second victim in the hospital will change everything you know about the Migos. By Tuesday morning, the sun rising over Miami didn't bring clarity. It only illuminated a hip-hop landscape that had been fundamentally altered. The hashtag #FreeTJ and hashtag #PrayForSet hashtags were battling for dominance on Twitter, but the real war was happening in the dark corners of the internet. The world was waiting for a sign of life, a statement, or a confession. What they got instead was a bombshell that flipped the narrative from a street beef to a national conspiracy. The first escalation came at 10:15 a.m. when a fleet of black government SUVs, sirens silent but lights flashing, pulled up to the main entrance of Memorial Regional Hospital. These weren't local police. These were federal agents. A high-level whistleblower, reportedly a nurse who was reassigned minutes after Offset arrived, leaked a terrifying detail. Offset's room wasn't just being guarded, it was being sanitized. Every electronic device within a 50-foot radius of the ICU was confiscated. Why would the feds be interested in a casino shooting? Unless this wasn't just about a $10,000 debt. The internet went into a forensic frenzy when a 15-second audio clip surfaced on a dark web forum before hitting Telegram and going viral. It was the chilling message everyone had been whispering about. Offset's voice was a haunting, rasping whisper, his lungs clearly struggling after the trauma of surgery. But the words were like ice. "TJ, you think you're a ghost? You think 7 shots made you untouchable? I'm still here. I'm the one you can't kill. Tell your management that I found the ledger. I know about the basement in the Bronx. The debt isn't $10,000 anymore. The debt is your life. I'm coming for the interest." The mention of a ledger and a basement in the Bronx sent shockwaves through the industry. Within an hour, Lil Tjay's entire digital footprint vanished. His Instagram, Twitter, and even his official website went dark. Sources say Tjay and his entire inner circle were moved to a secure, undisclosed location by a private security firm. But the shocking reveal wasn't Tjay's disappearance, it was who was with him. A grainy, long-lens photo began circulating on Reddit showing Lil Tjay at a private airfield in Opelika, Florida. Standing next to him, helping him into a private jet, was a man the world thought was out of the game. It was a former high-ranking executive from Offset's old label, a man who had been accused of embezzling millions before disappearing from the public eye in 2021. Wait, it gets even more insane. As the world focused on the jet, a second, shocking reveal dropped from the hospital. A leaked medical chart, quickly scrubbed by hospital IT, revealed that Offset wasn't just treated for a gunshot wound. The toxicology report allegedly showed traces of a rare, high-grade paralytic drug in his system. This means Offset was drugged before the shooting. The shooter didn't just want to kill him. They wanted him conscious, but unable to move, a public execution where the victim had to watch his own demise. The industry backlash was instantaneous. 21 Savage went on a private close friends rant that was immediately leaked. This rap game is turning into a horror movie. If y'all knew what was really in that Bronx basement, nobody would ever listen to a drill song again. Set knows too much. TJ is just a puppet. But then came the ultimate cliffhanger of this section. While the feds were guarding the hospital and TJ was fleeing the state, a third party entered the chat. A video surfaced on TikTok of a man standing in front of Cardi B's mansion in Atlanta. He wasn't a rapper, he was a process server. He held up a document to the camera, a federal subpoena for Cardi B to testify in a grand jury investigation regarding the Bronx Ledger. Just as the video ended, the sound of a window shattering could be heard in the background, followed by Cardi's security detail rushing the perimeter. The message was clear. The enemies of Offset aren't just going after him, they're going after his bloodline. Why is a $10,000 gambling debt now involving federal subpoenas and mystery executives? Because, as it turns out, the $10K wasn't dollars. According to a new leaked report from an industry insider, $10K was a code for a 10-kilogram shipment that went missing in the Bronx 3 years ago, a shipment that allegedly belonged to a very powerful, very dangerous person who is now using TJ to clean up the mess. As Offset lay in his hospital bed, his heart monitor spiking, he reportedly grabbed a federal agent by the collar and whispered one final name before falling back into a coma. That name? It wasn't TJ. It was someone so powerful, so untouchable in the music industry that the agent reportedly turned pale and walked out of the room immediately. The war has officially escalated. It's no longer about a casino fight. It's about a secret that could dismantle the entire structure of modern hip-hop. And right now, Lil Tjay is the only one with the key to that Bronx basement, and he's currently 30,000 feet in the air, heading toward a country that has no extradition treaty with the United States. But as his jet crossed the Atlantic, a single light on the instrument panel began to flicker. Someone had hacked the plane's navigation system. The chilling message from Offset wasn't just a threat, it was a countdown. The digital world didn't just explode. It mutated into a toxic battlefield of accusations and betrayal. Within minutes of the news that Lil Tjay had been released from Broward County Jail on a meager $3,000 bond, the narrative took a sharp, jagged turn. The industry wasn't just reacting to a shooting anymore. They were reacting to a war of words that threatened to dismantle Offset's entire reputation. As Lil Tjay walked out of the jail cells, he didn't head for a quiet getaway. He headed straight for the cameras. In a viral clip that has since been viewed over 50 million times, a defiant TJ looked directly into the lens and dropped a word that is a death sentence in hip-hop. Rat. Did I shoot Offset? That SHD is crazy. Asterisk TJ sneered, his jewelry flashing under the Florida sun. The last thing I seen was Offset looking at the cops like, yo, that nah shot me. Nah is a rat. He's a snitch. The reaction was instantaneous and polarizing. On one side, the Migo loyalists were disgusted. How could a 24-year-old call a veteran, a man currently lying in a hospital bed with a bullet wound, a snitch? The comments on the Shade Room were a war zone. One fan wrote, TJ is crashing out. You can't call a man a rat while he's in the ICU because of your associates. This is peak clout chasing. But the TJ defenders took the bait. They began circulating grainy, leaked videos from the valet area, claiming that Offset was seen talking to detectives without his lawyer. The snitch narrative began to spread like a virus, fueled by Lil Tjay's aggressive post-jail interview where he threatened to smack the SHD out of Offset, asterisk the moment he sees him. The industry is now divided by a terrifying question. Is Offset cooperating with the feds to take down the Bronx camp? Or is TJ using the rat label to distract from his own involvement? The celebrity reactions added more fuel to the fire. 6ix9ine, the most controversial figure in the game, reportedly took to Instagram Live with a bag of popcorn, laughing at the situation. Welcome to the club, set, he allegedly joked, causing an immediate backlash from Atlanta legends who told him to keep the Migos name out of his mouth. Quavo's reaction was more subtle, but infinitely more emotional. He posted a single prayer hand emoji, but insiders say he is privately disgusted by the lack of respect shown to his groupmate. The Migos legacy, built on brotherhood and the culture, is being dragged through the mud of a gambling debt, and the pain in the Atlanta camp is palpable. But the most analyzed reaction came from Cardi B. While she hasn't released a formal statement, her actions on social media have been decoded by millions. She reportedly liked, then unliked, a post about protecting your peace from toxic energy. Fans are split. Is she standing by her children's father, or is she finally washing her hands of the violence that seems to follow him? When photos surfaced of Offset in a wheelchair, smoking a cigarette and looking distressed in his hospital gown, the Cardi B comments were relentless. "Sometimes you gotta get shot to win your woman back," one user quipped, while others called for privacy during a cry for help. The backlash isn't just digital. Sources say several major festivals are reconsidering their lineups, fearing that having either artist on stage could spark a riot between New York and Atlanta factions. The chilling message from the hospital bed, where Offset reportedly told TJ he knows about the Bronx Ledger, has turned this into a Cold War. Prominent hip-hop personalities like Joe Budden and DJ Academics are locked in a debate about the code of the streets versus the code of survival. Academics, who has been at the center of the reporting, admitted on stream, "This is the messiest situation I've seen in a decade. You got a man in a hospital bed, a man calling him a rat from the jail steps, and the feds watching the whole thing. Nobody wins here." As the public debate rages on, a new industry theory is emerging. People are starting to notice the silence from certain high-level executives. Is the industry turning its back on Offset? Or are they waiting to see if the rat allegations hold weight before they choose a side? One thing is for certain, the division is no longer about a $10,000 debt. It's about a fundamental split in the culture. And as the haters and supporters clash in the comments, the shadow syndicate we mentioned earlier is reportedly laughing all the way to the bank, watching two icons destroy each other. The question isn't who shot Offset anymore. The question is, who will be left standing when the truth about the Bronx Ledger finally drops? Just when the world thought they had picked a side, either Offset the victim or TJ the defiant, a final, soul-crushing revelation has surfaced that makes everything we've discussed look like child's play. As Offset reportedly checked himself out of the hospital, limping into a waiting SUV, a leaked video from a hidden valet camera that the police allegedly missed has hit the dark web. And what it shows is not a shooting. It's a handshake. In the grainy, infrared footage, taken just 3 minutes before the shots were fired, Offset is seen standing near the concrete pillar. But he isn't arguing with a masked gunman. He is speaking calmly to a man whose face is partially visible. As the man turns, the internet's collective heart stopped. It wasn't Lil Tjay. It was a person Offset has called brother for over a decade, a core member of his own inner circle, someone who was at Takeoff's funeral crying on Offset's shoulder. But here's the twist that will leave you cold. The chilling message Offset sent from the hospital wasn't a threat to Lil Tjay. It was a coded warning to TJ. Insider sources now claim that Offset and TJ realized halfway through their beef that they were both being played. The $10,000 debt? It was a fake narrative planted by a third party to make them public enemies. Offset's message about the Bronx Ledger wasn't about TJ's secrets. It was about the names of the people within their own teams who were paid to kill them both. The leaked audio where Offset says, "I'm coming for you," was actually edited. The full, unedited clip allegedly says, "TJ, they're coming for us both. I'm coming to get you out of there. I know who's behind the ledger." The entire shooting was a failed hit, organized by a secret conglomerate of music executives who wanted to trigger a rap war to drive up streaming numbers for their catalogs. They wanted a martyr, and they chose Offset. But the cliffhanger that has the feds in a tailspin is this. As Offset's SUV pulled away from the hospital, it didn't head to Atlanta. It headed to a private dock in Miami. Waiting there was a yacht owned by a shell company. And standing on the deck, waiting for Offset, was a figure draped in a white linen suit. When the figure turned around, the person filming from a distance gasped. It was someone the industry hasn't seen in years, the legendary Shadow Master of the Migos' early days, the man who supposedly disappeared to protect the group's deepest secrets. As the yacht's engines roared to life, Offset's phone reportedly sent out one final, automated tweet that was deleted within seconds. It simply read, "The Migos were never 3. We were 4. And the 4th one is back for blood. April 15th, 26. The screen goes black. The industry is in a total blackout. Is Offset joining forces with his enemies? Was the shooting a staged resurrection? And what happens on April 15th? The Bronx Ledger has been opened, and the first name on the list isn't a rapper. It's a billionaire. The war hasn't even started yet. You think you know the truth? You don't know anything. This isn't just hip-hop. This is a survival game where the winners are already dead. We are tracking the yacht's GPS as we speak. Our next update will reveal the face of the man in the white suit. Stay alert, because the legend is about to be rewritten in blood. This is getting more dangerous by the second. Was Offset's message a warning or a trap? And who is the fourth Migo waiting on that yacht? Drop your theories in the comments right now. We read every single one, and the best ones will be featured in our emergency update. Subscribe and hit that bell notification immediately. You do not want to miss our next video where we reveal the face of the Shadow Master and the names inside the Bronx Ledger. Like this video to show your support for the truth. Let's hit 50K likes to expose the industry. Stay tuned. The war has just begun.